I get it, you're staring at a pile of garage lift ads and wondering if any of them will actually let you work on your car without turning your whole driveway into a workshop nightmare. You don't want to drop $1,200 on something that sits in the garage half-assembled, or worse, a lift that can't handle the weight of your truck and ends up being more of a liability than a tool. That hesitation is real, especially when you've seen cheap lifts wobble under a single-cylinder engine or pricey ones that need a full-size garage and a permanent electrical hookup. So before I dive into the specifics, let me say, link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The QuickJack 8000TL is marketed as a portable, 8,000-pound capacity lift that you can roll out of a garage, hook up to a standard 110-volt outlet, and have it raising a mid-sized sedan in minutes. The headline sounds impressive, but the real question is, does it actually fit into a typical die-mechanics routine, and where does it earn or lose its value? I spent the last few weeks watching a handful of owners set it up in cramped home garages, reading the Quick Connect manual, and watching videos of the lift in action on a range of vehicles from a 2015 Corolla to a 2008 F-150. Here's what I learned. First off, the portable claim holds water. The frame folds down to about the size of a large suitcase, and the wheels lock in place once you've positioned the lift. For anyone who rents a garage space or shares a driveway, that compact footprint means you can store the lift when you're not using it, freeing up the precious square footage that usually gets taken over by a permanent 2-post or 4-post system. The Quick Connect fittings are genuinely quick. You line up the pins, snap them together, and the hydraulic hoses click into place without needing any wrenches. I saw a homeowner with limited mechanical experience get the unit ready in under 10 minutes, which is a big confidence booster if you're nervous about making a mistake before you even start working under the car. Safety is a big selling point, and QuickJack has the ALI certification on the lift's design. ALI, Automotive Lift Institute, certification isn't a marketing buzzword. It means the lift has passed a set of rigorous tests for structural integrity, load distribution, and fail-safe mechanisms. In practical terms, that translates to a safety valve that automatically releases pressure if something goes wrong, and a sturdy, welded frame that stays rigid even when you're leaning over a lifted truck to change a rear-end bearing. For anyone who's ever heard a horror story about a lift collapsing because a bolt gave out, that certification is a reassuring baseline. Now let's talk capacity. 8,000 pounds sounds like a lot, and it is enough for most passenger cars, light trucks, and even some heavier SUVs. I saw a user lift a 2012 Toyota Tundra, which is close to the top end of that rating, without any signs of strain. However, the lift's design means the weight is distributed across 4 contact points, so you have to be meticulous about positioning the vehicle's wheels exactly over the lift pads. If you're dealing with a very low-profile sports car with a wide track, you might need to adjust the pads or use extra blocks to keep the car centered. It's not a deal-breaker, but it does add a small learning curve that beginners should be aware of. The power unit is another practical aspect. It runs off a standard 110-volt outlet, which is a relief compared to lifts that demand a 240-volt circuit or a dedicated generator. The downside? The pump isn't the quietest thing in the world. It hums at a noticeable level while it's raising the car, which could be an issue if you're living in an apartment or have close neighbors. Once the lift reaches the set height, the motor shuts off, and the hydraulic system holds the car in place without any additional power draw. So the noise is only present during the lift, not while you're actually working under the vehicle. One of the hidden trade-offs comes with the hydraulic fluid. The 8000TL doesn't come pre-filled, so you have to add the fluid yourself. That's a small task. Just open the reservoir, pour in the recommended type, and bleed the system. But if you're not comfortable handling fluids, you might need to watch a tutorial or ask a friend for help. Once it's filled, the system is low maintenance. You only need to check the fluid level every few months and top it off if it drops. Who should consider buying this lift? If you're a weekend hobbyist who wants to do oil changes, brake jobs, or suspension work on a couple of cars a month, the QuickJack 8000TL offers a solid mix of portability, capacity, and safety without demanding a permanent installation. It's also a good fit for a small auto shop that needs to move the lift between bays or store it after hours. The price point sits in the mid-range.